Yo, hey guys, Bleaks here. So we're making a new character in the Path of Exile Legion League. This is going to be a build diary part 1 for that character. We're looking to build a Slayer EQ character. We're currently level 29. We just finished Act 3, so we finished the Blood Axe and we're now in Highgate. We'll go over kind of our gear, what we've been doing so far. You can do this build with the 3-link. I'd say it's pretty tanky early on. You shouldn't have any trouble with the leveling process. Yeah, you can use a 3-link, it should be hardcore viable, and it should be league start viable. So keeping all that in mind, we'll kind of go over our gear real quick, and we'll go over our gems. Our gear, we just have some trash gloves we found. I mean, they're rare, but we put them on. We definitely need to look to upgrade these. Same kind of goes with our weapon. Weapon really has nothing going for it, it's just a 2-handed mace. Ring, a little bit of life, a little bit of resist, nothing too special. A little bit of life, a little bit of resist as well, also not too special. Kind of same thing with this amulet, and then we start getting into the uniques. So we use Wanderlust from the beginning. If you don't have access to this or it's a new league, then just use any boots, especially ones with movement speed. It'll just help significantly with the leveling process. I'm using Belt of the Deceiver. We just put this on around level 20. So nearby enemies are intimidated and it gives us some life and resist. So just all around good. Before that, you can use a Worm's Molt. Worm Molt at least gives you resist and it gives you some life. As far as rings go, I'm also using a Praxis at level 22. It gives us -7 mana cost of skills, which if we look at our Earthquake mana cost, it's 19 mana. So this cuts it down significantly so we can actually cast a little more. Before that, I was using 2 black hearts just for the extra damage from level 1. And this amulet here, this just gives us some life regen if we're low and life and fire resist. So that's really it with the gear. We haven't rolled any of our flasks, but we need to get an instant recovery flask. We also need to find flask upgrades. These are pretty old now, but it just kind of shows that you can still level this build even if you're not optimizing it fully. As far as gem links go, we're using a Blood and Sand, which only has a 10% reservation. We're pretty much staying in Blood Stance, so we're going to get the Blood Stance one here, which is the less area of effect but more area damage. You could also switch to Sand Stance and get the more area of effect, less area damage. You can swap this pretty easily just by clicking on the button. It's not too difficult. From there, we're also using Leap Slam with faster attacks just to get around a little quicker. Really helps significantly with leveling, and once you are able to get faster attacks in Act 2, then definitely find a way to link those up. We're also using Flesh and Stone. Again, you can switch stances pretty easily. So this is in Sand Stance, you blind enemies and you take less damage from enemies that are far away. And in Blood Stance, you maim, and enemies maimed by the skill take 14% increased damage, which acts as like a more multiplier. So that's the main reason we've been staying in Blood Stance, is to get that maim and you get that extra damage. But if you want to play it more safe, then switch to Blood Stance for like a boss fight or a big pack. Switch to Sand, the other way around, and then switch to Sand Stance if you're, looking to take less damage. Blood Stance if you're looking to do more damage. We're using Portal just because don't have a lot of Portal scrolls in this league. Don't feel like buying any from anyone, so we're just using Portal Scroll or Portal Gem. Portal Scrolls would work fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As far as our main links, we're using just a 3-link, even though it's in a 6-link. We're using Earthquake with melee physical and Shockwave. Shockwave works as like an extra skill and just triggers after your hit. So you will do your Earthquake, and you saw it had like a Shockwave in addition to the Aftershock. We'll do one without just so you can see. Actually, I don't know if you can see. Anyway, it works as an extra just way to deal damage. Works out really nicely. We're also using Herald of Purity, Dread Banner, and Steelskin. We can run all of these auras because they're 10%, 25%, 35%, 10%. We can run all that with no issues. We're also using a Steelskin. Steelskin just lets us take less damage as long as you use it beforehand. It absorbs around 300 damage at our level. And that's just really nice if we can see a big hit coming in, or we know we're just going to sit there and right click the boss. We can weave that into our abilities and take a little damage, a little less damage. As far as leveling goes, we started off with Preferate, just because it's something you can use early on. I can't show it off because it requires a sword of an axe, but we started with a sword or an axe, and we just use this in Sand Stance because it does kind of an AoE effect, and it's pretty large. You can switch to Blood Stance for bosses, but we just kind of kept it the same. You can also use Dash to get around before you have Leap Slam, or at least before you have faster attacks. It's a pretty nice skill in general. I like how snappy it feels, and the cooldown is pretty short, so if you're just running through Act 1, Dash is a really good skill to pick up. From there we also have Precision. If you can weave this into your build, there's really no reason not to. Gives you accuracy, gives you some crit as well, and the mana cost is pretty low. It's kind of hefty early on, but it's flat mana versus percent. So once we were done with Preferate, we started using Ground Slam. It kind of feels like Earthquake in a way, it's just not AoE, it's more of in a cone, which technically is still AoE, but you know what I mean. It's not 360 AoE, it's just a cone, 90 degrees to 180. Just some other gym links we've been messing around with, nothing too special there. Pride was another aura we were trying to use, and you can use it if you want. If we turn off Herald of Purity, we should have just enough mana to use Pride. So that means probably later we'll use an Enlighten and be able to run all these auras, but we currently only have 14 mana and our skill costs 12, so we can't really cast too much with Pride. So it's just not worth it to me, so I'm using Herald of Purity instead. Instead of Herald of Purity, you could run Herald of Ash or Arctic Armor, depending on what you're looking to do, and depending on how much Dex and Intellect you have. If you want to take a little less damage, go Arctic Armor. If you want to deal a little more damage and it clear, maybe Herald of Ash. And then if you want to do kind of everything or like a more balanced approach, I would just go Herald of Purity, which is what I've done. So we'll continue to keep this character upgraded and show it off in future things. We're looking to do the first lab soon and get our first ascendancy points, and hopefully that will be a little smoother. We're also looking to fix our resist soon and just kind of carry on with the character. So far it's been a really fun character, really smooth leveling. I would definitely recommend it as a league start, or for like a hardcore character if you're looking to play something, or if you're starting late in this league, definitely give it a shot. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll catch you guys next time for part 2.